I've had moments where like I've gotten a good result right after Mathis talked shit about me. And like, I wanted to post that same video, like, F you, Mathis. Like,
that's like what the 450 LCQ should be. Like, it should be this like unbelievably chaotic.
I shouldn't say there wasn't bad days. We had tough days, but you know, he left it all out on the track.
What's up, guys? We are back, episode 3, and this is a good one. We've got some great guests on here. We got Keith Clickstein, who is a former factory mechanic. He wrenched for Jimmy Decotis, RJ Hampshire, Hunter Lawrence, Aaron Plessinger, which perfect timing to have him on to talk about AP's second place and what it was like to wrench for AP. Also making a return, Jimmy Decotis, the 125 legend, talking about Stank Dog qualifying for the Supercross on a 125. Really cool, and his take on the little bit of drama between him and PULP MX, which we've all heard about, but it's really interesting to hear Jimmy's take on it. And then also zooming in with us, we've got Eli Moore, longtime friend of mine, grew up down the street from one another, pit biked every day. He actually got me into filming. Now lives in California, works for Red Bull, and still loves to talk about dirt bikes. How's that for an intro?
That sounds perfect, because I would say that's the exact description.
All right, so we're talking about Oakland, round 2. Before we really dive into it, just give me the short and sweet 30-second recap.
Completely different from A1. You got Anderson and AP 1 and 2. The using a word that I hate bringing up because it's like everybody tries to sound smart and say this in Supercross, but parody, because they've heard it like once on the broadcast and they're like, sorry, I should say they've heard it a billion times on the broadcast because that's how often I say it. And everybody loves it now. They're all parody parrots. I just came up with that right second, so save that. But it is nice seeing like guys like that really weren't even in the mix last week come in and be 1 and 2. And I think I'm probably over 30 seconds, but I will end it with saying like the fact that Anderson won, I think was really impactful.
All right, 30 seconds is up. Keith, what's your take on the night?
So I felt like Oakland was a little bit faster than what we've seen before. I don't think the track was as deep and rutted as we've seen before. It seemed like a little bit more hard base and slightly less steep in the rhythm sections. The racing was incredible for anyone that got a start.
oh, 30 seconds. Whoa. I gotta be quick.
Yeah,
I would say the racing was actually a little boring at the second round compared to the first round. Not as much passing action going on, but overall, I'm just so impressed with the 450 class. The talent of those dudes, the ability when you're there on like when I just watched on TV, and they're not even close. They don't look as close to as fast as they're going on TV. When you're there in real life, I'm sorry, they are flying around that track and like they're pushing the edge. And if there's anything I can take away from watching Oakland and A1 and being a fan is that these guys are the gnarliest dudes in the entire world. It is the hardest sport I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so when I was watching the time qualifying, they did a lap on Eli.
Like a full lap for once where they follow the same guy.
Well, they got half of it, but beggars can't.
They don't get the guy
I'll take
rolling.
it. They followed Eli Tomac from, let's see, where they cross over the start straight, right hand double to the finish line, all that. That was all I needed to see to realize he is unbeatable. There is no way you could go faster than what he just did. And so it was no surprise when he crossed the finish line, boom, top of the board. Here I am thinking it was unbeatable. And then it's ding, another guy bumps him down. Another guy bumps him down. I'm like, show me those laps because I don't even know how you could go faster than what I just saw.
That's part of it. And watching time practice is where you really see it. Like these dudes are on the edge. They are going so fast. And then you look and there's 13 of them that are going that fast. On these tracks like Oakland, it was a basic layout with pretty good size whoops. It is the only thing to separate these guys. It really is.
Well, so this is something I was talking about last week was the discussion of the whoops being too big. At A1, a lot of times people say they should ease into it. When you were a racer, were you kind of curse and felled under your breath saying, what the heck?
No, I was the opposite. Like if I walked track walk and they were small, I was like, what? I kind of was like, what the heck? So I guess I was cursing a little bit, but I was actually the opposite. I like big whoops because one, I actually felt like I was one of the better guys in the class in them. And then two, I just felt like it was such a part of the track where you can separate yourself from guys. I mean, the turns, the rhythms, everyone's doing the same rhythms. Very rarely you find a guy that does a new rhythm. If he does, the next 8 guys behind him, they're all like, oh, he did it. And they just do it. It's like they all pick it up so fast. So it's really one of the few spots to pick up time. And like, if you watch Craig, he doesn't care. It's like they're not even there when he hits the whoops. Like, he is unbelievable through them. Personally, if I was in that class watching Christian, I'd be hitting whoops all week long, because you can't even compete right now. If their whoops are big, it's like he's so solid, he's so smooth that like he's almost hitting them better than the 450 guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, Craig has been extremely fast. You can expect him to be in front or up towards the front, but the 450 class, on the other hand, totally unpredictable. Going back to Eli, who did you think was the biggest surprise?
Yeah, it was definitely Anderson and then AP, because I actually thought AP looked like he was going to make a run at Anderson. He didn't catch Jason, and I do think that Jason was the biggest surprise, because he looked awesome and like really handled that race, because he just saw that he had the win in like within reach and just made it happen, which was sick to see.
I got to give it to my man AP. I always believe that he's going to do it. Unfortunately, everyone's going to judge off of practice lap times. So if you look at the lap times, he was 12th. If you were to do your fantasy picks, it's hard to bet with him as a podium guy, only because they base it off so much on lap time. But when you put AP in that position where he got a good start, he almost rises to the occasion every time. So I was pumped on that, because my Patriots, they didn't do so well, and AP was able to rebound for me and finish my night with him doing good. So it was nice.
So while we're on the topic of AP, let's talk about AP a little bit more. When you were wrenching for him, what was a pretty cool experience, or what was unique about wrenching with AP?
He was just so happy. Like, there was never I shouldn't say there wasn't bad days. We had tough days, but he left it all out on the track. He accepted it, and he showed up the next day, and he was all smiles, and we move on. We worked together, but we also had a good friendship out of it. So I think that's most important of what we had together.
Well, so AP at Oakland, second place. Obviously, he rode amazing. I think it's been a long time coming. People were waiting to see how the switch to the KTM, how the switch to the Baker's Factory was all going to pay off. What do you think clicked? What's making the difference for him right now?
So obviously, start. You got to get the start in that class, right? You got to come around the first turn in top 5 if you want a chance to be a podium guy. I think that track was, it wasn't as ruddy as we normally see, but if you notice the goat trail through the whoops where there was that one rut, and I saw it on the first lap where AP kind of came in and he wheel tapped and kind of jumped pretty far into it and right through that rut. And I was like, oh, he's got it, right? Like, he's got that mindset. The whoops are not a problem to me. And there was a lot of guys that kind of struggled to get in that rut, be able to ride it without having it to be one of those cautious kind of parts of the track. AP just off the back of the bike, keeping the front wheel light. And I thought that was one part of the track where he was really, really strong.
Yeah, AP surprised me too. I did not have him and Anderson going 1-2 on the night, and don't tell me you did. I will not believe it. Jimmy, who surprised you the most?
Sexton, not results-wise, but just ability on a dirt bike. Like, I knew he's been good, and I know like he's been talented. Everyone's told me this, and I've seen him ride. I was a teammate with him for a couple of years at Geico, but just the way he rides with that effortless style, and you watch him, and it's kind of like when you watch James Stewart, you're kind of like, whoa, you're blown away almost. And he has that like wow factor to him that, not that all those guys don't, because all 12 of them are incredible, but I just feel like he can really pull it together. I think he could be even another step. He's that, I feel like that has that much raw speed in him.
So the 450 LCQ was a lot of fun to watch. Stank Dog makes it in. and then also the main events. What was the one moment that really stood out to you?
That's like what the 450 LCQ should be. Like it should be this like unbelievably chaotic and like not smooth riding at all. You just want it to be like the fucking battle. Like that's like the Game of Thrones style where bodies are flying everywhere. Not that you want anybody to get hurt, but you want to see the chaos. You mentioned Stank Dog, so it was awesome to see him qualify. Because it just looks so damn scary on that 125 out there. Because he's like a really good rider, obviously. It's honestly unbelievable that he can even ride the tracks on that thing. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
So a lot of talk about Stank Dog this week, whether it's because he qualified or his post-race
About PULP MX?
selfie interviews. Well, Stank Dog is the two-stroke guy in some people's opinion, but Jimmy D, to the northeast, you are the 125 ripper.
I appreciate that. And really, Stank Dog is the man. What he did was so cool. Like, the whole stadium, the last lap around, it was louder than the leaders winning the mains. Like, they were cheering for him. They knew he was in ninth. They knew it was a big deal. It's like he's built such a presence doing what he's done. And he literally does whatever he wants. He doesn't care what anyone thinks. And then the fact that he went and did that PULP video and said that about Thomas and Mathis and Kiefer is unbelievable. It's so funny. And I'm friends with all three of them. So it's even funnier. And like, I get it a little bit with Mathis because he's in a position, he's just on the sidelines, he's talking, and people get offended. And I used to, as a racer, get offended. But if you look at golf or football, like these guys have to talk about the racers, whether it's good or bad, that's their job. But at the same time, I've had moments where like I've gotten a good result right after Mathis talked shit about me. And like, I wanted to post that same video, like, F you, Mathis, like you just set up like a privateer and I can't hang with these guys. Like there was so many moments where I felt the same like spite he did towards those guys. So I 100% get it. It's part of the sport. It's what makes the sport good. And we should be thankful we have people like Stank because he makes kind of a robotic, boring sport. Guys are scared to say what they want to say. He actually comes out and says what he's thinking. And I respect that a lot.
So what's next? San Diego. Which of these storylines has your attention as we go into Saturday night?
I think the parity. I mean, the guys literally, Anderson went like, I got to do it 9-1 maybe. The biggest takeaway from the 2 rounds is how you can win a race and get 10th or how you can get second and get 8th. It doesn't matter. You can go 5-5 and still be in the hunt. I don't think one person can pick a title contender. I'm less sure about my pick of Coop now than I was 2 weeks ago, just because, not because of Coop's performance. He's been doing great. He's absolutely done awesome. It's because of how well the other guys are riding.
Because Barsha's got the red plate now on a 3-3. Like seeing Barsha in the championship at the end of the season is going to make for really exciting racing. So I want to see that.
I'm with Eli on this one, 100%. Barsha with the championship at his fingertips with just a few rounds to go. That would be some exciting racing. But before we wrap this up, one last question. Keith, going back to you. Aside from AP, what was one thing that really stood out to you from the night?
Probably Christian. I expected that, but it seems like they're kind of giving it to him. There's a lot of action in the 250s where people are crashing. You had Joe go down in the whoops. Hunter, he hasn't gotten a great start yet. Christian is just night and day in whoop speed as far as the next best guy. So they have some work to do, and if they keep building big whoops, I feel like Christian's going to have that advantage.
All right, well, we'll see if Craig's able to keep the streak alive as we go into San Diego. I was just looking at the track map. There is only one set of whoops, so we'll see if that plays any factor in it. It was a fun episode. Thanks for watching. Got to chat with 3 good friends of mine, and we've already got guests lined up for next week, so cheers.